we're here today for another episode of our Rome Talk series. I'm very happy of having today with us Paolo Cambula, who is the head of airport planning at Fiumicino Airport. Fiumicino, as you probably know, is the main airport of Rome and is one of the largest in Europe. So welcome, Paolo, first of all.
Thank you very much.
So, your position is the head of the airport planning, and I know that you've been involved in recent years in the new development of the airport.
Yeah.
So, why don't you start sharing with us what your position means and what you've been working recently on?
Oh, thank you. First of all, thank you for inviting me in this very good occasion for us. My role and my position in the airport management company is particularly interested for me, for my experience, not just for my professional experience, but also for my personal experience, because it's daily contact with the operation, but also one big vision to the future. And then mainly we have to translate daily the needs of the passengers in the infrastructure. Infrastructure is the direct contact from a customer, airlines, passenger, and also airport community to the Rome. In many cases, the first touch of Rome is the airport. And then we have to take into account the best practice to apply in our infrastructure all kind of measures to deliver a very excellent experience for the passengers. Our main target is sustainability and integration in the phase of development. It's a big challenge because the constraints that the airport normally maintain should very numerous in terms of anthropic pressure, but also urban accessibility and ground transportation, and also environment in terms of atmosphere, carbon reduction, water management, storm management, and that.
Paolo, in a recent conversation, you mentioned that you've been working on an important expansion plan for the airport. Would you like talking about it?
Oh, yes. Thank you for the question. Is one of the milestones of our company guarantee the infrastructure development and capacity for the future. And I myself drove the master plan, the expansion of infrastructure, airside, landside, and ground transportation for the future, from today till the end of our concession in 2046 year. And then, particularly important in terms of development is the integration between the current terminal and the infrastructure and the future. With the best practice, we study different alternatives to gain the operation excellence driver, the capacity, obviously, the operation capacity, but also the safety, and the integration of environment. In Italy, it's particularly important to demonstrate not just the growth in terms of big infrastructure to accommodate massive number of passengers and aircraft, but also to guarantee the environmental issue. In the past experience, the previous development design was rejected by the Italian Environmental Commission because was massive with a massive expansion greenfield. And then we restudy and adopt a clear criteria to reduce the consumption of new field and to adopt a regeneration strategy. In terms of new terminal, we will realize the extension of processor and piers very close to the current infrastructure after demolition and recycling of all materials from current infrastructure, like a maintenance repair area, like old building available in technician area. With this strategy, we will speak with the Environmental Commission to explain each different driver and to go to the final approval. Now the master plan is under examination from Civil Aviation Authority, the responsible authorities for the airport management. We depart from the current layout and the current infrastructure, and after traffic forecast release, we design the future development brownfield with a brownfield concept, a minimum addition of the new soil, new field. Just one runway more than the current situation, and the terminal system through the concept under one roof, very close to the current terminal system to connect easy each different pier and terminal.
Great, great, and good luck with that, because we know that sometimes these are very challenging moments. Talking about challenges, we are currently doing this interview in the month of March, and so we're still dealing with the COVID-19 pandemic. Again, you were mentioning that this has been a big challenge for you as well. Can you tell us which were these challenges? I mean, you found yourself in the middle of a global pandemic with an airport that used to have millions of passengers, right?
Yeah.
So how is the situation? How are you reacting? What was the situation for you a year ago?
Yeah, obviously, COVID pandemic effect around the world are dramatic, especially for large infrastructure that now are totally empty. Or we have 85% less traffic than the past year. Especially in 2019, we touched our top of score in terms of passengers, 43.9 million yearly. And after this big moment for us, arrived the pandemic with a disruption. In terms of operation, we closed Terminal 1, we closed totally 3 boarding areas, and specialized Terminal 3 just for check-in and baggage reclaim area, and connect Terminal 3 to the boarding area E, the newest boarding area for all flights. We passed through from 120,000 passengers daily to less than 10,000.
Wow.
And then we reduce each subsystem at the minimum level. But in parallel, we focus on the healthy measure with different action to reduce the contact for the passenger to the airport infrastructure, like check-in desk, like security checkpoint, passport control, gates, and we adopt thermal cameras, but also different measures to monitor daily situation in terms of diffusion of the COVID, and procedure to guarantee the maximum level of safety possible. We drove around the world also the first COVID tested flight. Very, very important news, not just for us, but also thanks to cooperation of a couple of airlines, Alitalia and Delta Airlines. After different important meetings with the health ministry, Italian but also American, we define a protocol to monitor and check each passenger in a dedicated flight. After the test, positive test, passenger can depart. The success of the measure and the experimentation is very, very interesting for us, but also for airport community in general, because after Fiumicino, Airport Council International defined a policy to guarantee the minimum checklist to monitor each different airports, and to audit, to define an audit, a specific audit to monitor level of safety, level of the virus diffusion in the airport infrastructure. We, Fiumicino particularly, was the first airport in the world to achieve the certification by Airport Council International, but not just from Airport Council, also by the Healthy Organization of Union Nations and different Italian certificator.
So Paolo, let me thank you as a representative of the Roman airport for what you just said. I mean, these COVID-tested flights are currently a great way for reconnecting the United States and Italy. Many institutions like ours are now looking at the possibility of bringing back students to Rome thanks to this experiment. And I'm very glad to know that you were the first one to promote this idea. And if I'm not wrong, your airport received some important awards for this experiment.
Oh yes, effectively from 4 years ago to now, we received different awards, not just for health and safety measure, especially after massive infrastructure development completed in 2012, from 2012 to 2016, we deliver a better quality for passengers. And then after this effort, we gain different awards. From Airport Council International, we are nominated the first airport in the world in terms of quality in 2018, 2019, 2020. And the best airport from Skytrax also, with 4 stars, also in 2018, 19, and we hope also 2020. It is important to underline that after an history not very good for our airport in around 2000 and 2012, we passed through a total regeneration of people. The milestone was the training program for the workers, for the staff that have direct contact to the passenger, especially the cleaner, especially the security staff in the checkpoint, but also a general involvement of airport community, because each different operator collaborate, have an high impact of collaboration in the global result of the quality in the airport field. Also the check-in desk, the people can assist passenger with the reduced mobility. Also people in the information point, and people during the boarding procedure, but also policemen or customs people that is no part of our company, but we gain all around table, define the parameters to monitor and check daily the quality in the airport. And through this mission and look around the world the best in class, especially in terms of quality, the Eastern airport like Singapore, like the Middle East airport, we look through details, exactly details. The flowers in the hall, the quality of retail and shop still present in the departure lounge, but also the cleanest facade and the windows over the apron.
So this is very interesting, the fact that you have been looking around the world, you know, but we are Italians. So my question is, how is the Italian creativity and innovation applicable, or how do you think that we as Italians are able to make a different airport? Because, you know, again, I'm not an expert, but people tend to think that airports are the same all over the world. So what makes Fiumicino different from an Italian perspective, if I can use this term?
Well, thank you for this question. Effectively, the airport in the world are quite similar. In terms of function, more or less, there are the same subsystem to pass through. But we think that the Italian approach at this field can deliver differences in terms of integration between different functions. Quiet transition with the color, with the messages, and with a sort of platform of shops and retail with a specific mix. In the departure lounge, especially passenger would like to touch before the last flight, before the return back flight, our brand, Italian brand for important fashion and luxury product. But also in Italy, in Fiumicino, there are a very interesting food experience. In the mezzanine floor of the new extension of Terminal 3 and the new extension of Terminal 1 that will deliver at the end of this year, passenger can appreciate different type of Italian cuisine for each different task, not just the specialities of the field, like the natural and Mediterranean cuisine, but also international cuisine with an Italian touch. And then particularly important in terms of difference is the integration with the green area. In the new extension of Terminal 1, we provide and we realize a garden, a smoking garden cafe, with a sort of selection of Mediterranean little trees and plant to adopt a last task for travelers very, very close to the boarding gates. And then also this is a particular experience that in Rome you can task, but not around the world. You can see similar situation.
I think it's important to speak about history for a moment, because the location of Fiumicino is very close to Ostia Antica. which has been for centuries the harbor and so the port of entry to the city of Rome. Ostia was established in Republican age and then has been developed under several emperors. So how is the relationship with history for you in this particular moment in which you are developing and planning the future of the airport?
Oh yes, exactly, Francesco. Our airport is over the first imperial airport of Roman time. You can imagine that our mission is also to preserve the goods or any different presence of the Roman old house or wall that we during the excavation found. Is a responsibility, not just a very heavy problem, but we are glad to present, to represent, to discover eventually goods. Our relationship with the Heritage Ministry is daily, obviously, because our field, in particular 100 hectares of the airport, are over the first pier of Claudio Imperator harbor. And very close to the airport there are Tiber, okay, but there are Traiano Imperator harbor, hexagonal harbor, interesting for 2000 years ago, but also actual now, and Portus Island, Portus storage system. And not just Ostia Antica, that was the Tiber harbor, but Portus harbor, very, very interesting for the characteristics of the storage for wheat for all Roman city. And then we have to maintain the relationship with the heritage, but also we have to guarantee that in our expansion, each different site will excavate before the pillar and the basement. We have to do the archaeological survey. After the check of the heritage people, after archaeological excavation, we can realize the basement and the works for the new infrastructure. It is a very particular moment, but we have to maintain relationship. We have a museum of Roman old ships in the airport boundary, and obviously we have also the statue and the presence of the Roman heart in various areas inside of our departure lounge, pier, and infrastructure.
You mentioned the word environment and sustainability a couple of times, and so I know that this is a very important topic for you. I'm happy also to share the fact that actually you and I met in the board of the GBC Italia, because we both, our institutions are both members of the Green Building Council of Italy. So how are you addressing the issue of sustainability in your planning? How important is sustainability for ADR?
It's very important. Sustainability for us is daily followed, because first of all we have to improve the ground transportation with especially relationship with the National Railway Agency. In the past 5-6 years we improved the connection between Rome downtown with direct link, express link, but also regional train. and improve the hour connection from 4 to 8 each hour in the peak time. And then also we adopt a strategy that until 2030 we will need net zero carbon. We reduce year by year the percentage of use of fossil fuel in terms of generation of power, and we adopt a photovoltaic strategy. And we are in progress a photovoltaic field for 30 megawatt, and we expect to deliver the final design at the end of the year and realize the first in Italy, the first photovoltaic panel very close to runway 3. After that, we adopt also for carbon reduction a policy to improve for the workers the connection home to airport with the electric car or plug-in car, with the appropriate plan to suggest the change of the car versus hybrid car. We plan to realize this year 200 points for battery recharge car in different sites of the airport car park, not just for the passenger but also for airport community, and also in airside for the ground equipment in the apron, very close to the terminal, and also to push the aircraft. Is a particularly important also the integration of the water cycle. We have a dual net in terms of water, and we recycle 100% of water that we use. Because also the potable, normal, drinkable water is particularly precious, and then we have to maintain a constant reduction of use of potable water. With the UV filtration system, we recycle all industrial water. From sewage system that also by rain drainage system, and then all plant conditioning have a total industrial recycled water. In terms of reduction of noise, is very important also in the airport field. We adopt with the ATC, with the control tower, a memorandum of understanding to cut the flight from the runway number 1 during the night. And then from 22 in the night, we shift the arrival and departure flight from the runway 1 to the runway 3. Because runway 1 is very close to downtown, Fiumicino downtown. And then we have to respect the approved noise contour, and also in this direction our sustainability efforts are very well maintained.
Paolo, thank you so much for what you have been sharing with us today. I have just one more question for you before ending this interview. You're here today because we've been thinking of establishing some sort of collaboration between our institutions. You know what we do here, and you know how important for our students is the study abroad experience in Rome. So where do you think this collaboration can develop?
Francesco, the collaboration can start in different field, because this year in particular we have to integrate the infrastructure master plan with the environmental issue like also landscape, for example, urban complexion, and the integration between aviation and non-aviation infrastructure. And then this is particularly one very interesting item for architecture, and we can study an appropriate program for the student in terms of see the state of art in Italy of hub development and translate some deep study focus on the integration between different parts of the airport. Also because we have to face the transition between the infrastructure, the current layout, the current infrastructure with different characteristics of the building to the future, to a total new design, but after different years of the works. And then we have to study with the passenger overview and the customer overview the best situation to mitigate the travel inside of the airport, but also to accommodate specific topics like green area, like signage, like car park in appropriate location to guarantee evolution, innovation, and sustainability.
Thank you, thank you. This is very important because here in Rome, one of our, probably the most important mission is to challenge the student with real issues. And so the fact that they will have the chance to work within a real project is really fascinating and will put them in front of the reality that young designers will have to face.
Yeah.
So thank you so much. We really appreciate the fact that you find the time to join us today, and we wish you all the best for, first of all, for the post-pandemic restart.
We need.
And for the future development of your project.
Thank you to you for this opportunity to announce our plan, our milestone to development. It's a pleasure cooperate with you, with your faculty, with the university. And I hope that we can see as soon as possible students coming from states in Fiumicino to touch with their hand our reality.
Great, thank you so much. Grazie.
Thank you to you.